we seen.
She went over and sat in the gallery too, while I did my thing on the floor. So. Nice. Noticed that she did that. What time is it? I'm
Getting
time.
getting close, you see.
It is 5:59.
There we go.
Showtime.
Who's that? Is that, oh, Tina and David, very nice. Okay, Shabbat Shalom, welcome to Agudath Israel Etz Ahayem Synagogue here in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm Rabbi Scott Kramer. Welcome to our Kabbalat Shabbat service. Both online and in person. We will begin today's service. We're praying out of Sidor Lev Shalem. We will begin tonight's service, page 5, with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim Akah, Dosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 11, Psalm 95. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladunai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladunai. Naria, Naria, Letzor Yishenu, Nekad Mafana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Letzor Yishenu, Bizmirot Naria Lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladunai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladunai. Naria, Naria, Letzor Yishenu, Nekad Mafana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Letzor Yishenu, Bizmirot Naria Lo. We continue responsively in the English. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Great is Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai who formed us. For Adonai. If only you would listen today to God's voice and not become hard-hearted, like the people at Merivah, like that time at Massah, in the desert when your ancestors tried me and tested me, though they had seen what I had wrought.
For 40 years I was troubled by that generation, and I said, these are people whose hearts have gone astray, and they do not know my way. So in anger I swore they did not enter my rest.
Arba'im shana kut bedor va'omaram to'e levavim v'him lo yad drachai Asher nishpati v'api im yavaun el menuchati. Page 13. Ashiru ladonai shir chadash, shiru ladonai kol haaretz, shiru ladonai baruch shemo, basru meyom leyom yeshuato, sapru vagoyim kevodo bechol ha'amim nifliotav, ki gadol Adonai, o mehulal miyod, no rahu, al ko Elohim lai lai lai, kiko Eloi amim elilim, v'Adonai shamayim asap, od v'hadar lefanav, oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho. Havul Adonai mishpachot hamim, havul Adonai kavod v'oz, havul Adonai kevod shemo, seu mincha, uvahul chadzerod av lai lai lai, shtachavul Adonai behadrat kodesh, chilum mipanav kol haaretz, imrum vagoyim Adonai malach, avtikon tevel balatimot, yadina min b'meisharim, yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz, ayiram mayamu melo, Yalo Sadai v'chol asher bo lai lai lai, az yiranenu kolat seyar lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz, ishpot tevel betzedek v'yamim be'emunato, yalai la lai 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 la lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai. We continue responsively, page 15 with Psalm 97. David, would you lead us?
Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, the many distant lands rejoice.
Clouds and thick darkness surround the divine. Righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about.
Flashes of lightning illumine the land. The earth watches and trembles. Mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the Master of all the earth.
The heavens tell of God's righteousness, and all the nations see God's glory.
Worshippers of idols be shamed for praising false gods. All that is deemed supreme bow before God.
Zion hears of it and rejoices. The cities of Judah exult as you, Adonai, pass judgment.
You, Adonai, are above all that is earthly, exalted over all that is worshipped as divine.
Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the lives of the faithful, saving them from the hands of the sinful.
Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name.
Or Zarula Tzadik Yisrael Simcha Simchu Tzadikim Badunai V'Odu Lezecher Kadesho. Thank you very much, David. Page 17. Mizmor Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash Ki Niflaot Asap Hoshia Lo Yimino Ozara Wakod Shoadia Adonai Yeshuato Le'ena Goim Gilad Tzidkato Zachar Chastav Emunato Levei Yisrael Ra'u Cholav Se'aretz Et Yeshuat Eloheinu הוריעו לאדוני כל הארץ, פצחום ורננו וזמרו, זמרו לאדוני בכינור וכל זמרה, בחצוצרות וכל שופר, הוריעו לפני המלך אדוני, ירמיה ומלואו, תבל ויושביה, נהרות ימחאו כף, יחד הרים ירננו, לפני אדוני כי יבוא, לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, וימים במישרים, ילי ללי 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 ללי, ילי ללי ללי ללי, ילי ללי 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 ללי, ילי ללי 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 ללי, ילי ללי ללי ללי, ילי ללי lay lay, ya lay la lay la lay 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 lay, ya lay lay la lay 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 lay. We continue Psalm 99, page 19. Adonai reigns, nations tremble, the one enthroned amidst the cherubim makes the world quake.
Adonai is great in Zion above all nations. They shall acknowledge your name and say great, awe-inspiring poet.
A sovereign strength lies in the love of justice, and you forge the paths of truth, judging Jacob righteously and justly.
Exalt Adonai our God. I bow down before God the Holy.
Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name, called to you and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the cloud. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai our God, you are a forgiving God to them, even as you punish them for their transgressions.
Exalt Adonai our God. And bow down at God's holy mountain. For Adonai our God is holy.
Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu la'ar kadesho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. We rise, Psalm 29, page 21. Kemo v'nre'emim, kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, kol Adonai yecholeu ayalot, vayechesop yaharot, uveichalo kulo omer kavod. Adonai lamabul yashav, yeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz li'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. You may be seated. We continue, page 23. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabila. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabila. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmi'anu elam yuchad. Adonai echad u'shamahu echad, l'shem ol tiferet beliti la. Lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabila. Lekrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekora beracha merosh mikedem nesucha. Sov maaseh b'machshvat chila. Lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabila. Mikdash melech ir melucha, kumitzi mitocha hafecha ravlach sheven b'yemek habacha, v'hu yachamohu alaychem la. Lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabila. We rise as we turn to the last stanza of Lecha dodi, page 25. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. You may be seated. Continue with Psalm 92, page 27. Ira, would you lead us, please?
It is good to thank you, Adonai, and sing to your name most holy. Claim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night.
Finger the lute, pluck the harp, let the sound of the lyre rise up.
You gladden me with your deeds, Adonai, and I shall sing of your handiwork.
How wonderful are your works, Adonai, how subtle your designs.
The arrogant do not understand, and the fool does not comprehend this. The wicked flourish like grass, and every evildoer blossoms, only to be destroyed forever.
But you, Adonai, are exalted for all time.
Surely enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies will perish. All those who commit evil will be scattered.
As a wild bull.
Raises up its horn, you raised my head high, anointed it with fresh oil.
As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear.
The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They flourish in our God's courtyards.
In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no flaw.
Tzadikata mar yifrach, ki erez balvanan yiske shetulim bevet Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun beseva deshenim verananim yeyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avlatabo. Page 29. Adonai is sovereign, robed in splendor, girded in strength. The earth stands firm, not to be dislodged. From earliest time you are enthroned, you are eternal.
The rivers rise up out of the mountain. The rivers raise up their roar. The rivers raise up their waves. Above the roar of the vast sea and the majestic breakers of the ocean, Adonai stands supreme in the heavens.
In your house, beautiful in its holiness, your testimonies endure, Adonai, for all time. So, yes, thank you for joining me, for Kabbalat Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. This has been an unbelievably more busy week than usual. It started out Sunday evening. I drove down to Mobile with Dr. Dan Puckett, who's the chairperson of the Alabama Holocaust Commission. The Gulf Coast Holocaust Education Center had their annual memorial at Spring Hill. I was invited to come and give the keynote by Rabbi Ed Baraz. And it was a great program. It was really a good program. We left immediately after we had dinner, and I got back about 2 a.m. Monday was just prep for me to get ready for Tuesday morning at the Alabama Department of Archives and History for the Alabama State Yom HaShoah event, which was it was really a well put together program, if I do say so myself. We had a really, really good turnout. The choir from St. James was really, they were just fantastic. Ann Mollengarten was our keynote this year, and she just did a fantastic job. Right after that event, I did the invocation on the House floor for a joint meeting between the Senate and the House in recognition of Yom HaShoah. One of our own, Ethan Byrne, actually did the Pledge of Allegiance. And it was really nice to see Ethan there. He's only about 11. And then last night, actually that wasn't it. Forgot what the other thing was. Somebody will remind me. Federation, right. I'm sorry. There's so many things going on. That's right. The Jewish Federation of Central Alabama had their Yom HaAtzmaut. They had a dinner at Temple Beth Or. The Israeli ambassador for the Southeast gave a nice talk, and then last night I had to do a prayer of healing for the One Place Montgomery annual event. It was really well attended. I was at Holy Comforter, and John Ed was the keynote. You always know when you did good if the keynote mentions you in his talk. So, and here we are on Shabbat, and I am absolutely exhausted, but it was really, really a good week. When I was sitting in a class at Schechter in Jerusalem, Schechter is the Israeli rabbinical school for Masorti or conservative students in Israel. When I was in Israel for the year, I learned at Schechter, and we were it's in Jerusalem, literally right next to one of the outside gates of the Israel Museum, and we were we were learning a class about something called Shatnez. Okay, which I'll talk about in a minute. As the teacher was explaining the terms pishtim and semer, which literally means linen and wool, I must have blurted out, because I've heard this term pishtim for a long time, and I really had no idea what it was. It translates to linen. But one of the caretakers of the building happened to be walking by, heard my query, and said out loud, "Hold on a minute." He came back in a few minutes and plopped down in front of me, pishtim, which I think in the move of my office I must have misplaced it, but it's a piece of flax. Okay, it's a plant. And I was still a little perplexed. He said that he went outside to a plant that was growing around the building and just pulled it and put it on the table. So these are unspun fibers of the flax plant, which they at one time in our history used to make clothes out of. That's what they had to make clothes out of. It was very itchy clothes too. We have heard this word before in the prayer that men recite to their wives on Friday nights, Friday evenings as Shabbat is beginning. It says, "She selects wool and flax and cheerfully does the work of her hands." Flax is used to, again, make clothing. It's completely plant-derived. Semer, on the other hand, is wool and comes from sheep. So with that, this word comes up in in Leviticus 19:19, when it says the following. Et chukotai tishmaru, you shall observe my laws. Behemtecha lo tarbia kilayim, sadacha lo tizra kilayim, uveged kilayim shatnez, lo ya'aleh alecha. You shall not let your cattle mate with a different kind. You shall not sow your field with two kinds of seeds. You shall not put on cloth from a mixture of two kinds of material. That's what the Torah says. So we are, and this improper mixture of linen and wool is called shatnez. So it's a weird word. It probably is not Hebrew. It probably is Egyptian in nature. When I was in Los Angeles and I was looking for a suit for ordination, the dean of the rabbinical school, Bradley Artson, told me to go to this particular store because it was rated to not have this illegal mixture in it, if you can believe it. There are, in fact, when I was in Jerusalem, in the Old City, there was actually a store you could take a piece of cloth in, and they would tell you if it had this illegal mixture in it. I mean, some people really take this stuff seriously. But the words of the letters of the word shatnez, if you look in, if I was to bring a Torah scroll out, you would notice that some of the letters have these little flourishes on top of some letters. Okay, they're called tagim or katarim or crowns, and they're like little decorative flourishes, but there's a meaning to them. And the tradition appears to be in the realm of Jewish mysticism. But the letters of the word shatnez are the ones that have these flourishes in them. Why? I have no clue. But the key idea is kilayim, improper mixtures. The Torah does not explain why these are improper, as it does not explain most of the rituals such as kashrut or sacrificial law. One explanation put forward has to do with the story of Cain and Abel. Cain brought an offering from the field, and Abel brought an offering from the animals. Unexplainably, God accepts Abel's offering and rejects Cain's. This resulted in, of course, the first murder. Midrash says that after Cain murdered Abel, God decreed that the offering of the sinner should not be mixed with the offering of the innocent. Not a very acceptable answer to that question of why we don't mix these two. The Zohar, the book of Jewish mysticism, notes that the command to avoid these mixtures is right next to the commandment of Ahavta Re'echa Kamocha. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. A further reminder of what happens when you don't love your brother. So these explanations seem to help in our understanding of shatnez. However, in the Mishnah, in the oral law, it clearly describes the priestly clothing as having this forbidden mixture. To make matters even muddier, we should note that in a prayer shawl, a talit, this very combination that is forbidden is there because the tzitzit are made of wool and the talit itself is made of linen. So maybe we have to rethink what this purpose was. The forbidden mixture was relegated to the priestly realm. The mixing of wool and linen belongs to the realm of God, which is forbidden for ordinary human use. Such materials are specifically prescribed for moments when human beings are able to transcend the world of the ordinary and enter the divine world. This is a world where reconciliation happens between Cain and Abel, and this biblical injunction to love your neighbor as yourself can manifest itself. When we pray, we are putting the ordinary aside and enter the divine world, even for a short while, to remind us of what our potential is for holiness. We are able to reconcile with each other and walk into a world where everyone loves one another and cares for each other. The dean of my rabbinical school, Bradley Archon, actually brought this to our attention. We just knew that we weren't supposed to mix wool and linen. We had no clue that it was actually in the actual prayer shawl that we wear. So it definitely gives us a pause to rethink what the laws of Judaism are actually teaching us. Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue with Ma'ariv. Please rise, page 39a, for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Avoed. You may be seated. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. O Mahavir Yom Umevi Laila, Mavdio Ben Yom Uvein Laila Adonai Tzvaot Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Lamvoed Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim, page 40. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amchavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadita al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachveinu v'kumeinu nesiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha uv'mitzvotecha le'olam voed ki em chayenu v'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla v'yavatcha tasim mimenu la'olamim baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecho v'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ho'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinanetam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shachbecha v'kumecha ukshartam liot al yadecha v'hayu latotafot beinecha uchtavtam nam zuzot beitecha uvisharecha v'hayim shamot tishmeu mitzvotah asher anochi. Vayomer Adonai Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'yamarta lehem v'yasu lehem tzitzit al kanfei vignehem ledoratam v'natnu al tzitzit takana petil tachelet v'haya lachem letzitzit oritem oto Uschartem et kol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam v'lo tatu acharei levavchem v'acharei nechem asher tem zonim achareihem leman dizgaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kadoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etachem be'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 43a. This is our enduring affirmation binding on us that Adonai is our God and there is none other, and we, Israel, are God's people. God is our sovereign, redeeming us from earthly rulers, delivering us from the hand of all tyrants, bringing judgment upon our oppressors, and just retribution upon all our mortal enemies, performing wonders beyond understanding and marvels beyond all reckoning. God places us among the living, not allowing our steps to falter, and leads us past the false altars of our enemies, exalting us above all those who hate us. Adonai avenged us with miracles before Pharaoh, offered signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. God brought Israel from its midst to lasting freedom and led them through the divided water of the Sea of Reeds. As their pursuers and enemies drowned in the depths, God's children beheld the power of the divine. They praised and acknowledged God's name. Page 44. ומלכותו ברצון כי בעליה משה ומרים ובני ישראל חנישירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדור בקודש נורא תהילות אוסף אלה מלכותך רב ובניך בו קיים לפני משה Zeli anu v'yameru Adonai yimloch le'olam voed v'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov ugalad mi'ad chazak mimenu baruch et Adonai ka'al Yisrael. Page 45. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Ushmotzeitenu vein l'chaim ushamiata v'yad olam ufroslinu sukat shalamecha baruch et Adonai haporet sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. We rise, page 46. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat La'asot et ha-shabbat ledoratam barit olam v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat La'asot et ha-shabbat ledoratam barit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam oti le'olam v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat la'asot et ha-shabbat ledoratam barit olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat la'asot et ha-shabbat ledoratam barit olam Uvayom Ashvi Shavat Vayinafash Shavat Vayinafash Shavat Vayinafash Vishamru V'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat Ledoretam Barit Olam. Silent Amidah, pages 47 through 52. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atah melech Adon lechol shalom. Ki atah melech Adon lechol shalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'to be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. And we remain standing as the ark is open. Page 56. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol latet gedula liotze bereshit shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot v'lo samanu k'mishmachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkeinu kohen v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ ומושב יקרה בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגבי מרמים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו אבל זולתו ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא אלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת. אין עוד אלוקים לכבודך אדוני אלוהים, לרומם בתפארת עוזך. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא נהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו Echad. You may be seated. We never got a chance to put our weekly bulletin together this week. There was just too many things going on. So I do not have the art site list. I really do apologize for that. But be that as it may, those observing yard site and those who mourn, we rise, page 58, for the Kaddish Tom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'oma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayedecho beit Yisrael, ba'agalav zman kariv v'maru amen, yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'elam omel maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudisha barichu, Leilam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran b'yoma v'maru amen, yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'maru amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'maru amen. You may be seated. Again, thank you for joining us for Kabbalat Shabbat. Services will continue tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Tomorrow evening, the Alabama Community Virtual Havdalah will meet. We have a new time change. We're going to meet at 8:30. Okay, so if you come in at 7:30, you're going to be an hour early. And we won't be there, but we are going to change because it's getting dark so late now. So tomorrow evening, our Zoom will be at 8:30 to end Havdalah together. Religious school is now over. We finished up last Sunday, so I get to sleep in for a Sunday. Haven't had that in a while. We will have Monday and Thursday services at 7:15 a.m. with breakfast following. I think there is a board meeting this Tuesday night at 5. There we go. I hope to be there. I have to get some minor surgery on a finger, so I'm hoping I will be there. But that's going to be tomorrow, Monday morning. And I don't have the rest of the announcements, so I hope I got everything. If not, I didn't. Okay. We'll go ahead and conclude our service, page 211, with Adon Olam. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'ed nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra azai melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kichlot hakol v'ado yimloch nora V'hu haya, v'hu hoveh, v'hu yiyeh b'tifara, v'hu yiyeh b'tifara, והוא אחד ואין שני לעם שלו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלים ביצרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום מקרא מנת כוסי ביום מקרא בידו אפקיד רוחי בית אישם ויעירה ואם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא